Third part of chapter 2, I get into the main problems with the healthy approach to mental health. And there are a couple key things here. And again, I spent 10 years, close to 10 years studying this, not to mention my degrees in psychology and with a specialty in neuroscience and neurobiology. So I've studied psychology and neuroscience for, it's actually probably 20 years, because I graduated college in 2000 and that was my study in college, and it never really ended. But I spent 8 years deep dive into in a specific personal development organization and applied the techniques that are out there in the personal development space. And I went all in on applying these techniques. I mean, it's one thing I do, man, is I go all in. If I recommend anything to any of my clients or anybody in my classes, I've gone into this depth and I'm asking people to try this, right? It's just the way I've always done this. And so there's a few things that I found in the personal development space that don't make any sense and put you at war with yourself. Okay. And that's really the key piece here. The strategies and frameworks of a lot of the things in the personal development, things we've accepted as real and true, they work against your innate biology. Okay. So there are certain things about your biology and your physiology that, you're never going to change. And so if the personal development industry is trying to get you to change your innate biology through these different frameworks and paradigms, what it does is it puts you at war with yourself. It literally puts you in the ring with yourself, and you are fighting against yourself, which means you're going to be dependent on the techniques and strategies forever. And that's what I saw. The deeper I got into that personal development organization, and the more I realized we were just creating dependency on us. We weren't empowering people. We were creating dependency, which is exactly what I saw in the other two spaces, the fitness and the systemic. All right. And so this battle that was created inside of us because we're going against our innate biology is it leaves us feeling defeated, okay, disconnected from ourselves, and we believe there's something wrong with us, right? This is what I have seen come from that space. Now, there are some incredible people out there that are doing it differently, okay, in the realm of mental health and psychology. As you read my book, you'll see that, Gabor Mate is one of the gentlemen that I think is just he's been such an inspiration to me. But that is not the way he's going about it, and he's discovering some of the same things. But what that leads to, when we're feeling defeated, disconnected from ourselves, and something's wrong with us, it makes us very susceptible to latching on and becoming dependent on anything that looks like a buoy. So when we're feeling this way, we're feeling defeated, we're feeling like things aren't working, it makes us susceptible. Like we'll grab onto anything that we feel like will keep us afloat. It could be a person, it could be an idea, a concept, a label. Hey, I was told I have this. Oh, I've been diagnosed with that. It's like, oh, finally, I understand what's wrong with me. And so I'm going to know what's wrong with me now. I'm going to take this medication. I'm going to do this thing. Oh, thank God, because I'm anxious, and so I can't get rid of my anxiety. I've got this problem with anxiety. I got this problem. I can't focus. I got this problem. Things that are actually quite normal, and they're not, doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. It puts us, this is what I mean by it puts you against yourself. It's not even your fault. It's just the whole environment, the whole culture creates this battle. Okay. And so there's a couple frameworks that I share here in this chapter that directly pin us against our biology. All of these are very toxic and they don't empower you, okay? One thing that I went into a little bit here is you shouldn't care what other people think. Like, it's a pretty common thing in the personal development space. Hey, you shouldn't care what people think. Yeah, that is a perfect example of going against your innate biology. We are wired biologically to care what other people think. You're never going to change that. And so the only way to not care what people think is you have to disconnect from your biology, your emotions. You have to disconnect from that. There is no other way to stop caring about what other people think, because in order for us to survive as humans, we need to be accepted by the environment. We need to fit into communities, because traditionally you can't survive in the world by yourself. You need a community to survive. So that is an evolutionary thing, to care. Now, should we care what everybody thinks? No. But we should care about the people in our life, the people, the communities we want to associate with, the people that are living life in a way that aligns how we want to live life. We should care what those people think, because that's our tribe, right? You should care what your tribe thinks, but you should be very careful about selecting your tribe and be very conscious about selecting your tribe. And we get into that in later chapters, but that's just one example. Another one, when you're afraid, 99% of the time, there's no real threat, so ignore it. This is probably one of the most damaging ones out there. This idea that you have to overcome your fear. You have to move forward anyway. One of the biggest things I see in a lot of personal development, talks or programs that are out there, you see these people that want to, maybe like start a new business, or I'm going to do this thing, or like the personal, like the coaching industry for sure, or people starting online businesses or anything. Like there's this idea, this framework that's out there. It's like, man, don't let your self-doubt, stop you from moving forward. And you got to overcome that. You got to shut down that self-doubt in yourself, and you got to just move forward anyway. That is so dangerous in so many ways. And obviously I talk about this in later chapters. Your emotional system is there to communicate something to you. So if you're about to start, to work with clients, and they're like, yeah, man, I'm going to quit. I want to start my own business, but my self-doubt is coming up, and I just don't feel like I can start my own business, and I shouldn't quit my job even though I'm miserable. And it's like, and I'll say to them, yeah, you should be doubting yourself. That's a healthy thing. You're not delusional, right? You're doubting yourself because the emotional communication system is saying, hey, I don't think we're capable of starting our own business. I have doubts about that. Yeah, that's true. Like, this is why 90% of businesses don't work that get started, because people have this idea that I'm going to overcome my fear. No, listen to it and learn how to integrate it. Hey, this self-doubt's telling me something, I should pay attention. Hey, this anxiety is telling me something, I should pay attention. Now, obviously, I get into this in later chapters, but this is one of those examples of a framework that pins you against yourself, and you will, when your communication system is trying to tell you something and you keep shutting it down, it's just going to keep screaming at you over and over again. Okay? Never take action when you're feeling a negative emotion. Another very dangerous thing that's out in the space, because again, it's this positioning that number one, there's such thing as a negative emotion, that negative emotions are bad. And to the point now, if you feel a negative emotion, you're diagnosed with some problem or disease that we have some pill for, right? So this whole idea that negative emotion is a bad thing, right? Never take action when you're feeling a negative emotion. Again, learn how and why it's there, and learn how to integrate it. That's going to be much more empowering than have to fight against something that's never going away. Okay, emotions are part of the life journey. Like, you're not going to get rid of your emotions. And emotions are communication systems. Obviously, I go into that much more in chapter 7. But never take action when you're feeling an emotion. Yeah, again, this is how you create dissociation from yourself. This is how you train this space of never trusting yourself, right? It just doesn't align you with your incredible intuition and capacity and empower you. It actually creates disconnection to yourself and makes you dependent on something else. And this is where it gets very dangerous, right? Next, you have destruction patterns in you that you need to eliminate or let go of, right? That's a big thing in the space. Oh, I need to let go of that. I need to let go of this. Yeah, no, you don't need to let go of anything. You need to learn how to integrate and communicate with what's happening and why the system. Assume that whatever's happening is happening because you need to pay attention, okay? There's not letting go of anything. It's learning where its place and learning how to integrate it, okay? And we'll get into all this in future sessions. Don't trust yourself when you are emotional, right? A lot of these are kind of similar in some ways, but I'm saying in a couple different ways so that you can get it, because they're said a lot. But as you can see, a lot of this stuff creates this place where you don't trust yourself anymore, right? As opposed to learning about yourself. Know thyself, right? All my courses are focused on getting to know yourself, getting to understand why you think that, why you feel that, where that came from, and how we can integrate it to move forward today, right? Happiness is a choice. Oh, yeah, this one always drives me nuts. It's like, oh, happiness is a choice. You can choose to be happy. Hey, if you're not happy, it's because you're not choosing it. Do you think anybody on the planet is unhappy because they're choosing to be unhappy? And if they could choose to be happy, they wouldn't? I mean, how insane is that? And all that does is, if this is out there in the world, happiness is a choice. Think about how defeated people are going to feel when they're like, I'm so miserable. I'm being told happiness is a choice and I'm still miserable. So there must be something wrong with me. Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong with you. Happiness is a choice. Again, happiness isn't the goal. I know that sounds crazy to people in the beginning. It doesn't mean that if we're suffering, we don't want to be at peace or be happy, but it's a step on the ladder to what we really want, which is what we get into in later chapters, which is meaning and purpose. The goal isn't to be peaceful. The goal isn't to be happy. And if we orient to it that way, and then we're told that it's a choice, and clearly you're not making the choice, so there's something wrong with you, again, it puts you at war with yourself, just makes you defeated and very susceptible to anything that is wiggled in front of your face that helps you eliminate the pain of being at war with yourself. Okay? Very destructive thing.